Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to two of the biggest stars in Panto, musical theatre and show business. Jack, Andrew, how are you?
Hello, nice to see you.
My first pantomime here, I think, was in 1991, way back with John Nettles in Dick Whittington. And that was an amazing experience. And I've been coming here on and off ever since, doing not just Panto, but doing lots of shows. But I love this theatre. It's a really fantastic theatre.
My first performance here in Panto was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And that was 7 years ago. 7 years ago now. 7 years ago, with Gokwan, Stephanie Beecham. It was John Partridge. I nearly said Alan Partridge. No, John Partridge. Who else was in it? Gary Wilmot, Paul Zerdin. And little old me in the corner as odd job, and I was introduced by Kudos, and they said, "You just do a little bit," and I was like, "I'm not doing much. Do a little bit." Next year, Jack and the Beans, a bit more, and here we are.
And he's so lovely to be on stage with, mad as a box of frogs, but hilarious to be on stage with. Such a great panto performer.
And I've seen the Birmingham one before, and it's the one to beat. So I'm glad to be a part of it.
And this one isn't the Birmingham pantomime this year; it's the Palladium pantomime, so it gets even bigger.
Yeah. So I did Southampton last year, and we did the Dick Whittington that was there the year before, and I'm now doing this one, which has come straight from London as well. And honestly, the sets and costume they spend so much time and effort into it. It's like Las Vegas meets musical theatre meets Disney extravaganza. They're always incredible.
I'm not so interested to talk about the set, but the costumes I am. Does this mean you're going to get Julian's costume?
Well, probably not all of his costumes. I don't actually know. I mean, this is what we've got for the press day. I don't know if this will be the one for the show. It might be, but they'll probably have something. I won't wear all of his though. It's I don't think I could pull them off like Julian.
Of course, the fact that I'm playing the Birmingham Hippodrome, I'm going to be playing Snow White in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Never has there been a more delicious or gorgeous Snow White. I mean, you were born to play this role, really, weren't you?
I hope so. It's the first time I've ever played the role. The last time I did a panto role was Sleeping Beauty, which was a very long time ago. And my first ever job was Princess Jasmine. So this is the first time playing this princess. I'm excited.
This is the biggest panto in the world, the longest run and the biggest show, and you get the Palladium set this year. You must be thrilled.
Delighted, couldn't wait to come back. I mean, ticks all the boxes, doesn't it? Birmingham Palladium set, massive cast, everyone in the world in it. Couldn't be better.
I love how you play your part because you don't shtick it up. You're not a man playing a woman, you're a panto dame. There's a big difference, isn't there?
Yes, I embrace the story, really. I embrace the ridiculous of the situation, and I just believe it. It's about believing the story and the jokes, and that's how I play it. I'm just a person in this mad world.
Have you got the best role in the show or the worst because you've got to put the eyelashes on?
I've got the best, really, haven't I? I think I've got the best, yeah.
Has he got eyelashes on? I wouldn't.
These are my own, not false, you know.
They do seem to do a lot of sort of dangling and wobbling.
They do all the work for me. I don't have to do anything, let me tell you. It's fine.
And of course, it's a big year for the theatre. It's renovated. It's the biggest panto in Britain, which must mean you're one of the biggest stars.
Well, I don't know about that, but I feel one of the biggest stars at the moment, bursting out my dress. This is radio, so you can't see what he's looking at, but...
Oh, no, we've got a camera, love, we can.
Oh, yes, you can.
And it's a terribly long run, and then there's live music, there's a live band, and there's live singing, and you...
So excited, I'm in my element, like bring back the live.
What's wonderful for me here, I love pantomime. So when you come to somewhere like Birmingham, you've got the sets, you've got the costumes, you've got really fantastic things to look at. And this is a great cast this year, it really is. So it's going to be a real goodie.
And just when you thought it was strong, it just got stronger, adding in Jack, who of course is a star of the Palladium, Joseph. His voice is just incredible.
I just loved that production of that show. Absolutely adored it. What's so interesting is you can take a show that's been around for years and you can inject new life into it, and it's suddenly like, oh my goodness, it's like you've never seen it before, and it just reminds you how wonderful it is. But you see, I love going to the theatre, and so I love doing pantomime because you can bring the whole family to the theatre. I think there's nothing like live theatre. I think it's just a lifeblood. For me, it is.
What are we going to get from you? Will we get a Joseph moment?
You might get a Joseph moment. I don't know. I'm still yet to see anything. So I'll be just as surprised as you.
It's very lucky Julian Clary isn't in it, because I remember when Lee Mead was here, he tried to have a Joseph moment and Julian just talked all over it.
That's right.
He was having none of it. No,
It wasn't. It was fabulous. It was a fabulous moment. Yes.
It's amazing what you do. It's a captivating performance, and you've got the great thing of warmth before you even walk out. The minute they see you, before you've said anything, they love you, and then of course you've got to deliver. And it's tough. And I said to you after the show last year, coming up with a new bit every year that's going to wire them is the tough bit, isn't it? Because the expectation gets higher and higher.
It does. I mean, it's nice. It's nice to be loved, and I do not ever take that for granted. That is something that's very, very special. In fact, just Jill, who's Doreen Tipton, right? Brilliant. She said to me, you know, they love you. And I sort of, I know, I get it, but she said, no, you're like, you know, I'm like, wow, that's incredible. I'm very, very proud of that. I'm very grateful. And that gives me a lot of humility, I think. I think it's just nice to know that I've crafted that through sheer hard work, and that's why I put the effort in throughout the year. You know, I sit there rocking, going, what am I going to do? It's got to be good. It can't just be, that'll do. No, and that's why, you know, my routines you'll see all over the country.
Yeah.
Stop nicking. It takes me months, and I'm after you.
I think people forget when we know you from Corrie or something like that you had a whole life before. I mean, and you're a proper theatre actress. This is your home, really, isn't it?
I love it. I miss it so much, and it is my bread and butter. I'm thoroughly excited about the Christmas period, and what a better kind of way to go from my 4 years at Coronation Street to going back to the theatre and doing something so much fun with the cast that I'm with as well. They're phenomenal, and just the whole Christmas feel. It'll be really kind of upbeat and fun.
And there's 34 of these kudos pantomimes around the country, and they chose you to be in this one, which is the biggest and the longest running. There's a compliment. Must mean you're the most beautiful Snow White in the country.
No pressure. I'm going to take that. I'm not going to say anything. It's hard to take a compliment these days.
Are the costumes the most exciting part of what you do? Because anybody can put a wig on, but then add in this, and they get more and more ridiculous as the show goes on.
The on-stage bit is the easy part of the job. Doing the talking and the singing and whatever, then the jokes is the easy bit. It's when you go off stage and you're changing and ripping costumes off, and you've got dressers and wardrobe people cramming you in. So that's the hard work. On stage, in front of the lights, is the easy bit.
And you in this part, of course, is tricky because you get booed. But is that the most fun?
I love it. It's much more fun. The thing is, I'm not very good at playing good. You don't really cast me as good. Even if I do Cinderella as fairy godmother, there's still a little bit of, oh, God, come on, move it on, I'm bored. You know, of she wants things to go her way. So there's still a little bit of edge to her, because I'm just not somebody that's, you know, like all cute, and I can't do that. So, and that's not the character I was best known for, like with Dorian. So I always try and give it an edge. But I love Snow White because she's a real... I'm covering myself up now, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a bit late for that, love.
I know, it's a little bit late, but at least I can end with dignity. The thing is that Snow White is she's such a baddie, and she comes to no good at the end. So you can really have that. But, you know, you can sing, you can dance, you can do everything, you can act, it's almost like stand up in that, because if somebody shouts something out, then you can go bounce off them. It's like stand up. And I love working with Matt Slack. We've worked together a lot.
And they've given you the Palladium production this year, which is just beautiful. Last year there it was, and you're in the lead role in it. Is it exciting to be in something on this scale? Because let's face it now, tours are struggling, selling tickets is tough, but this one is still a mega sellout, earning millions and millions of pounds every year.
I don't think about that. That to me is, you know, if tickets sell, they sell, and I love to play to a full house. But, you know, so many things I do. Nearly every show I do because I want to do it. So you go into Young Frankenstein and you think, oh my goodness, I'm working with Mel Brookes in the Garrick in the West End. And that is like, you go into Calendar Girls and it's glorious to do that show because you're working with people who can really do it. So every show has its merits. I love pantomime. And you could be here or you could be in a much smaller one. You adjust it to according to the theatre. If you do a smaller version, you're in a smaller theatre, you're still communicating with an audience. So that's what I bounce off. And yes, it's wonderful to be in this production because it will be mega. But it doesn't mean that anything less big is any less enjoyable. For me, it's the show, and it's working with the audience and the people on stage that I love.
What are we going to get this year? I mean, the thing about Panto at its best is these big production pieces where you get to shine. There's 1 or 2 or 3 of them in every show. I presume at this point, as we talk mid-September, you're already thinking, if not sorted it.
Yeah, well, I start the thinking process very early on because we have to, which can be painful. And it also depends on who's the casting. So once I know who cast it, once I knew Lesley was coming back, well, I'm like, brilliant. Instantly, we have a connection. So I'm really looking forward to that. Last year I did the flags and things like that. I'm working on a new lip sync idea. It's just placing, at the minute it's like a big jigsaw and you think, I'll do that there, well that will change, maybe not. Got a lovely closing routine, which is great.
Hang on, I can see your brain whirling there.
Yeah, I'm thinking today is very much about thinking, bro. I start getting creative.
You're excited by this finale, I can tell.
Yeah, no, that would be fun. I mean, but there's something I'm doing in this one, which is I think the audience are going to absolutely love it, and I'm very proud of it. And it's like a celebration of the 120th birthday. I've squeezed it in, written it into a scene. So it's Snow White's a brilliant story. So the comedy I don't like it's the variety acts go and do it. I don't like that. Any comedy can come out of the character based and the story based comedy. Do it like that, which is a bit cleverer rather than just going, next, that's what I'd prefer to do. And this particular routine is, like I said, a celebration of all the people that have been on the stage at the Hippodrome and all the shows set to certain bits of music. It's been done before, but I've made my own, and I think they'll go nuts for it.
Yeah, it's my first time actually working for Kudos. So I'm really, really excited. I've heard great things about the company, and you know what, if they put more money in, it just kind of sets the whole show, doesn't it? And there's a standard. And I think with the cast that we do have, that we're ready to smash it.
And of course, you have got a phenomenal cast. You've got legends like Lesley Joseph, and you've got comedians like Matt Slack, who's a legend here in Birmingham. I mean, it must be nice to be in that sort of safety net of class and professionals. It's a bit like Corrie in a way, isn't it? Nobody can let anybody down because you've got sort of 12 shows to do a week.
Yeah, I do love the fact that when it comes to working within a company, that you end up becoming a family naturally. We're going to love each other, we're going to hate each other, we're even have our good days, our bad days. But I have legends working with me, which is brilliant. So you just naturally have a trust there with them, and I think that's going to get us through the slog of 2 shows a day. Bring it on.
You've got a new star that was just added to the bill last week in Jack Yarrow, who of course has been phenomenal in Joseph at the Palladium, a remarkable talent. Please, can we have him do something from Joseph and the 7 dwarfs appear from under his amazing coat? Can we? It's bound to happen, sure.
With a big smile on their face. Grumpy's happy all of a sudden.
Matt Slack is quite something, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. We call each other mother and son because we've worked together in Panto quite a bit, and in Hot Flush we worked together as well. And on that we did what I call going off-piste, where, and that's the thing with Panto. When you work with people who can do it, and it is an art, and people are suddenly starting to realise that Panto performance, it's a real art, because you have to drive the story. You have to know that, yes, you can do all the comedy, but you have to know when the comedy hovers and starts to come to an end, you have to pull it in, push it on, and that's what Matt and I do well together. I love working with Matt. I absolutely love working with my son. So, and yes, he's wonderful, and I'm glad people are appreciating just how good he is.
Is this the happiest time of your year? I mean, you're synonymous with this now, and you are one of the most credible there's ever been in Panto, and people trust your judgment both as a director, performer, and the guy who holds the whole thing together.
Oh, thank you.
Is this exciting for you to be back and here?
I love it, and this was the venue. I mean, I've done Nottingham quite a few times, and I love it there, and I have a great time. But here I have the best time, and I couldn't wait to come back, actually, because you never quite know. At the end of the Panto run, you don't quite know where you're going to be next year, and then when I got a call, it's hello, you're coming to Birmingham. It's like results. Yeah.
2 words though, Matt Slack. Have you heard of this fella?
I've heard of this fella. Yeah, I've heard.
Trouble.
Oh, really?
My 2 words say who? Oh, yes. I know him.
Tell me about what you're going to do in it. Do you know yet what you're going to sing or what we're going to hear you do?
it's like a whole like a surprise waiting to happen. Like Christmas is coming. I'm like, what am I gonna get? I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. Hopefully I'll get a say maybe. I've just met my prince today and he seems lovely and he's so talented. So I know I'm in for a treat.
And of course they brought the Palladium show here and they brought Jack here from the Palladium from Joseph. It doesn't get bigger and better than that.
Standards. I know. No, he seems so sweet and so lovable. And we're already howling with Lesley. Oh my God, she's cracking us up. So I'm thrilled. I'm really, really privileged and honoured and so grateful to be here. So bring it on.
Is it fun doing this one particularly? I mean, I think Cinderella, we had it a couple of years ago, which is just magical to me. Probably the most beautiful of pantos. But this one gives you more sort of story to play with. It must be great to have Snow White.
Well, totally, because in a manner of speaking, yeah, that's why I'm just rewriting the script now. I've just met Faye. All of a sudden, Muddles is no longer best friends. They've got a little arrangement. Anyway, so they're special friends. Let's leave it at that. I think Snow White's such a good story. Such a good story. You've got the Seven Dwarfs, so of course there's the all the obvious un-PC gags that I do and be told off. Well, that's a way of getting away with that kind of thing. But it's all in fun, all in jest. The story's so strong, and that's why this year in particular, it's nice to use the story with the comedy interjected, and I just think it's for the kids as well, although there's not that many kids out there, it's mainly adults, but I just think stick to the story. When you've got a story, use it. And in this we have, with a great cast, brilliant effects, great comedy, great audience. What more do you want?
The Palladium set, a legend like you. As Panto star goes, I don't think they come any better than you. Your ethic is remarkable. What you do twice a day is unbelievable. You're such a star. We can't wait to see you here at Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs at the Birmingham Hippodrome. Matt Slack, thank you for your time.
Very kind, Alex, as always. Thank you very much.
And the costumes. I mean, does this ever become normal when you look in the mirror and you look like this?
I mean, this is just my street clothes. This is how I arrive today.
Like that.
No, I feel very comfortable in sparkles and tights.
Stunning performer, and again, your ethic. He turns up and delivers, even if he's tired, even if he can't be bothered. It's 100% or nothing, and I love that. We, of course, fell in love with you after Birds. What was it, 450 years ago now?
30 years.
Any chance we'll see it again? Because it came back and it was very, very successful.
I never say never. This year everybody was too busy. I don't know. Maybe next year. Who knows? I always say maybe, maybe not. I never close the door on anything. Close every door to me. That's going into our wonderful Joseph, who's playing our prince.
And I've suggested the Seven Dwarfs should come out from under his amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Yeah, you could do that.
I did warm up with Loose Women for a while and worked with Linda, who we love again from Birds. Yeah. How's she doing? We haven't seen much of her this year.
I don't know. I haven't seen much of her either because I've been on the road. But she's doing fine.
She's great. And we want to see that back because, again, the chemistry between you three is wonderful. And to see you on a stage is magical.
But do you know what? I will say there's so much else I still want to do. And I am getting older. And I just think there's a lot else I want to achieve
Lesley,
still.
stop it. You're in Calendar Girls. 3 days later, you're in Annie. Now you're coming into Panto. You're going back into Annie before that. I think you're busy enough, actually. You're doing fine.
Yeah, but, you know, there's a lot. I'd love to go to the National. I'd love to do Chekhov. I'd love to do a bit more drama. I'd love to go back into Shakespeare. There's a lot in me I've still got to do. Sorry about that.
You are phenomenally talented, and more importantly, we love you very much. We can see you this year in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs at the Birmingham Hippodrome. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, as you know.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs at the Birmingham Hippodrome.
21st of December, the 2nd of February.
It's an amazingly long run, and you're playing the man in the mirror. I pray to God, Michael says you've got to wear those 16 ridiculous costumes that Julian had at the Palladium. You deserve it.
Listen, I could pull it. I'm sure I could try and pull it off.